In this video, I will be demonstrating how to create a new test by using the Testinvite exam software. I am already logged into my account and I will navigate to the test section. As you see that I don't have any test yet, so I just click on add new test button and I give the name for my test. Let's say it's general knowledge test. Let's create the test. When you create a test, you firstly see the structure of a test so that you can modify the structure of the test. Here there are some buttons to modify each section page of the test or the settings of the test and you can click on preview to preview the test. So firstly I will create my sections because I already decided the structure, how the structure should be. I will create a test with 3 sections. The first section will have a name of geography. So I click on this button to edit the section settings and I give it a name like geography. And in this section, do I want the user to be able to navigate between pages? This is the setting that I will be making here. For this section, I will allow the user to go back and forward between pages. But I want the pages to be shuffled for each person who is taking the test. So I click on shuffle pages. I also add a starting content so that the user is informed about the section that he is going to start. So let's write a introduction content. Okay, let's make it look better. You will have 5 minutes. Okay. So, and also I want to limit the time for this section and I will say it is only 5 minutes. Okay. So I save it like that. When I save the settings for a section, I see the name of the section and I see that I have a time limit for this section. I have an introduction content. I set it so that the pages will be shuffled, meaning that the pages will be randomly ordered for each person, and we allow the user to go backward and forward in this section. Okay, and this is the settings for section. How about the settings for the whole test? If you click on the same button on the row of the test, I will again see some similar settings. So now here I will not allow the user to go forward and backward between sections because this is the setting for the test. So here I am setting whether the user will be able to go forward and backward between sections. And I don't want the sections to be shuffled, so I want them in the order that I create. And I also want to put a time limit for the test. And for this case, it is let's leave it like this, 1 hour. Okay. So here are my settings. The test has a time limit of 1 hour, and user will not be able to navigate between sections. Okay, let's add the second section. The second section will be about English. And in this section, I don't want the user to be able to go forward and backwards, so I set it. And let's put a time limit of 15 minutes. I again put a starting content. This time I will say you are about to start the English section and you will have 15 minutes to respond to all questions in this section. Okay. I don't want the pages to be shuffled in this section, so I save it like that. Okay. We have configured both geographic section and English section. Let's add the third section now. Similarly, I edit on settings and I give the section a name, and this will be math. And for this section, I want to allow the user to go back, but I don't want to allow the user to jump forward. So I select only allow going backward, which means that when you start the math section, you will start with the first page and then you will advance to the second page. And when you are on the second page, you will be always able to go back to the first page, but you will not be able to jump to the fifth page, for instance. Let's put also an introduction content for this section. Let's correct. You're about to math section. Okay, and for math, I will allow only 10 minutes. I don't shuffle the pages. Okay, the math section is also configured correctly. Okay, now I am almost done configuring my sections. And when I click on preview, I will have a brief understanding of what I have done so far. When you click on preview, you will see the exact same screen that the end user will see. So the test has started and the test had a 1 hour time limit. So the time limit has already started and we have 3 sections. And because we didn't allow the user to navigate between sections, I have to follow the orders that I am given. So this is I start with the first section. This is geography. As you see, the timer for this first section has not yet started because I am only seeing the introduction content for this section. If I click on next, the system will warn me that the section timer will start for this section. So when I confirm, I am already on the I have started the section, so the timer has started. Okay, and this is the page, which is blank for now. Okay, let's close the preview and let's start to create the content for the section. For instance, in my geography section, I want to add 3 pages, and I will show different ways to create content for each page. For the first page, I click on the edit button on the page row, and here is my blank page. So I have several options to add content or questions into this page. I can create multiple choice question, input question. I can import multiple questions at once, or I can browse my question bank and select the questions that I want to add into this page, or I can add a random question selector, with which I will explain in the upcoming section, and I can simply create a content. Okay, so let's start with adding questions from the question bank. I will browse my question bank. So here is my question bank. I assume that you already watched our previous videos about creating questions and storing them in the question bank. So I assume that you are already familiar with this screen. Here I have a few folders. I pick the geography folder, and here are the tags of the questions within this folder, and I want to get the questions about the capital. So here I have already 2 questions. I select them all, and I want to add those questions into my page. Okay. This icon here tells me that those questions are coming from the question bank. Let's okay, the point of this of both questions are 1, so it's okay, and I think this is okay for this page. I can close it and I can move. Oh, I didn't add a name for the page, so I can add a name so that in the report I can see I can clearly understand that the user has responded to the questions in this page correctly or half correct or not at all, something. So here I will say capitals, for instance. Okay, let's edit the second page. In the second page I will create a few questions. Now, when you create a question, when you are editing a test, they are not stored in the question bank. So you will not be able to use this question in another test. If you want to use a question in multiple tests, you should firstly bank your question into the question bank and then add the questions into your tests. So let's add a multiple choice question. So this is the multiple choice question editor that I hope you are already familiar, and I will quickly create a question. I will use the paste editor, which is very easy to go. How many continents on Earth? Okay, let's pick the correct one and I save this. So my first question on the page. Let's add another multiple choice question. This time I will also use the paste editor again. Okay, this is the question, 1 blank line and options. I paste. Okay, I can set it so that the choices will be shuffled, meaning that randomly ordered for each user. Okay, and let's pick the correct one and I save that. Okay, so now on my second page of geography, I have created 2 questions. Okay, let's move. Oh, I didn't give it a name. Let's write a name for this page also, like world. Let's say it's world geography. Okay, and let's edit the third page, and here I will add only 1 question. I will again create a question like I do always. Okay, there are 50 states. Let's save this. Okay, let's close this. Okay, let's name this page US Geography. Okay, so my first section is ready. It has a timer of 5 minutes and 3 pages. And if you remember correctly, the first page has 2 questions, the second page has 2 questions, and the third page has only 1 question. Let's move to the second section. The second section, I will demonstrate a few advanced way of creating tests. So the first page of the English section will be named speaking. And do I want to set a timer? Yes, I want to allow only 10 minutes for this page. So now we have a time limit for the page also. So there are 3 levels of time limitations that runs independently. One is for test, one is for each section, and one is for each page, and they are all optional. Okay, let's edit the speaking page. Here what I want to do is to ask one speaking question to the user, but I want the question to be randomly selected from a list of 2 questions. So what I do is I add a random question selector here. And how this random question selector works is you create a question set first. So I firstly pick my questions. I go to my English folder, I select the speaking category, and I have 2 questions here. I select all them and I add 2 into my list. So I have 2 questions, and I want the system to select randomly one out of these 2 questions. Let's save this. Okay, so here will come one question selected randomly from a set of 2 questions. We can also name it so that we remember what was it about speaking question, for instance. Or let's say beginner level. Okay, and I think for this page we are okay. Let's move to the second page of the English section. I add a new page, I go to the page settings, and I give it a name, and this will be the writing page, the page with writing questions, so I name it writing. And do I want a time limit for this? Yes, I do. So I put a time limit of 15 minutes for this page. I save that. Okay, and I edit this page. And in this page, what I want to do is, just like I did in speaking page, I will do the same thing but twice. So I will ask each user one beginner level writing question and one intermediate level writing question. And I already have those questions in the question bank, so I can add a random question selector, and let's say that this is the beginner level writing question. So let's create our question set. I go to English folder, I click on the tag of category being writing. So here I have many questions, writing questions, but I want only the ones that are beginner level. So here I have, I think, 5 questions. Okay, I select them all and I add to my list. And now I want the system to pick one out of these 5 questions. And let's save this. Okay, so in this page, the first question will be a beginner level writing question, which will be randomly selected from a set of 5 questions that we have just selected. Let's add another random question selector in the same page. So now I will do almost the same thing. I will firstly create the list. So I again go to the writing, but this time I select intermediate level writing questions, and there are 3 questions. I build my list and I again say that, okay, this is intermediate level writing question. Let's save that. Okay, so this page is done. The user will be asked by two questions, one from a set from beginner level writing question, and the other one is intermediate level writing question, and both will be selected randomly. Okay, so we are done with the second page. Let's add a third page, and I will demonstrate something similar to random question selector, but it is different. I will not add a page, but I will add a page picker. Page picker works similarly, but instead of picking random questions, this item picks random pages. So you have to create a few pages, and then you tell the system to select one or many pages out of this list. So I start with naming this item. It will be reading page picker, let's say. Okay, and it will be selecting randomly one out of the pages that I will just create. So there is only one page right now. Let's edit the content. And what I will do here is I will firstly create a content. Let's add a content. Okay, this is the reading material. And now I will add some questions. How I will add? I will browse my question bank, and I will select the questions, the reading questions that are about this subject. The name is 16th century. So I add all the related questions. Okay, so the reading material is the first item of the page, and then comes 3 questions related to this reading material. So my first page is ready. Let's also give it a name. 16th century. It is the name of the reading material. So this is how I understand. And let's add another page. I will do almost the same thing. This time I will again add a content at the top of the page, and let me have the content. Okay, the content is ready, and this is a content about Sherlock Holmes. So I go to my question bank, to the English section, reading, and Sherlock. The subject being Sherlock, so there are 3 questions. I add them all. Okay, so this page is also ready. I close it. Okay, now I hope you understand what I am trying to build. Let's add a name for this also. It's Sherlock. Okay, so what the random page picker will do is, out of those two pages, it will randomly pick only one and show to the end user. So some people will be responding to the questions about the 16th century reading material, and others will be responding to the Sherlock reading material and related questions. Okay, I think we are okay with this also. So our English section is also almost ready. And do I want to set a time limit for reading? Let's add a time limit. Let's add a time limit here. I will say for each reading section reading page, I will provide 5 minutes. Oops, 10 minutes. Okay, they are both same. Okay, so English section is over, and now I will create the pages of the math section. What I will do here is, for the first page, let's name the page. I say it's arithmetic. Do I want to put a time limit? No. Shuffle? No. Okay. So in this first page, I will again add a random question selector. This time I will go to my math folder and I will select all the arithmetic questions and the beginner ones. Okay, and I have built my list, and I want the system to automatically pick randomly 3 questions out of these 8 questions. And let's name this random 3 arithmetic questions, for instance. Okay, and let's save that. Okay, and now I will add another random question selector. Oh no, sorry, this page is all okay. Okay, and finally I will add a page builder. So we have seen how the random question selector works, and we have also seen how the random page picker works. And now I introduce a new component, which is page builder. It works very similarly. We firstly create our list, and I select all of my algebra questions. Okay, I have built my list, but the page builder also asks me the number of pages to build. So out of these 10 questions, let's say that I want to pick all of them. Okay, and I will build some pages automatically. Let's say that build 5 pages. So in this setup, the system will automatically create 5 pages, and each page will have 2 questions. So that's how we can serve the 10 questions. We can do this, and let me do that. Okay, and let's name this. It is algebra, if I remember correctly. Okay, so let's preview and see what we have created. We have gone a long way, so I hope you can follow everything that I did. So the test timer has started. The first section is geography, and this is the introduction content for this section. If I click on next, the section timer will start. Okay, I confirm. The section timer has started, and I am in the first. Actually, this is the second page because the first page is an introduction page. So I can, how many continents? Okay, and okay, I click on next. I move to the third page. What is the capital? Germany. So I have still a few minutes for this section. I can go. Okay, so if you remember, for this section we allow the user to go forward and backward. So I can move back to the second page. Actually, I already see that in this page there are 2 questions, and I have already answered 2 questions. So there may not be a need to return, but I can check my responses. Okay, let's go to the fourth page again. There are 50. Okay, okay, now the system tells me that the section has a timer and I still have time. So if I move out of this section, I will not be able to go back to this section. I confirm, and the section is over. I cannot go back. The second section will start if we proceed by clicking on the next button. So now, as you see, our test time limit still counts down, but the section first section's timer is already over. So for the second section, if I click on next, the section timer will start. Okay. Oh, here we have both section timer and a timer for this page. So here is my first speaking. As you see, we have set up so that the system will select randomly one out of a list of 2 speaking questions, and here I have one. And the system warns me that I will not be able to return to this page because the page has a timer. So I am giving a time to complete this page. I will not start recording. If normally people will click on start recording and speak, and then click on stop recording, and so that they respond to this kind of question. Okay, let's move. The third page, if you remember correctly, has its own timer again, and for this we have 2 writing questions. One is beginner level, the first one, and the second one is intermediate level. So I write my responses and I click on next. So the fourth page, if you remember correctly, we use a random page picker. So for our case, for this demo, the system selected the reading material Sherlock. So here is the reading material and the questions related to this. I don't really know about this question, so I try my chance. Let's click. Okay, the section is over and I still have time. Do I want to quit this section? Yes, I want to proceed. Okay, now I am on the last section. It is the third section, which is the math section. I have my introduction content. I confirm and I start the last section. I have only 10 minutes in this section. Okay, what is this? If you remember correctly, this is the randomly selected 3 questions out of a list of 8 questions that we have created. Okay, let's answer a few of those questions. Oh, I cannot do this now. Okay, and if you remember, the second component that we put, it was the page builder, and the settings was that we have given a list of 10 questions and we wanted the system to serve in 5 pages. So in each page there are 2 questions. Now I select a few, and if you remember, for this section we set it so that the user can go back but cannot jump forward. So I can go back to my third page, and okay, third page is unanswered. Okay, as you see here, if I click on next, okay, page 5 is also not answered. Let's answer these questions. Page 6, let's not answer 1, and you will see that I have answered only 1 question and 1 question is waiting for an answer. So I can go back to the 6th page again and I can answer the missing question. Okay, so because there is no other section that I can navigate to, and I am at the end of the section, I will respond to the last questions and finish the test. Okay, so here it is. We have seen how the test preview works. It works just like we configured. I hope this video tutorial will help you creating the test that you want to create. Thank you very much.